you can get access to that. What's up guys, and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO. Welcome to the channel and welcome to my team, my first draft for the FPL 2017-2018 season. Hopefully what this video will do is give you an insight into what I am planning to do for the beginning of the Fantasy Premier League and give you an insight on a player that has been in the top 1% for the last 3 years running. So if stuff like this is something you think you'd enjoy, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell on this channel so you're up to date with everything happening in Fantasy Premier League. And consider joining my Patreon, where there is benefits for people that are Patreons, one of which being part of my Discord channel, where you will be getting the graphics from my video and my thoughts earlier and have access to asking me more questions in that Discord channel. So go check out my Patreon page, any support is appreciated. So on to the video, and we're going to go into depth about my team, the team I've picked so far, but disclaimer alert, this team is very likely to change. Already there are issues that I feel I have in certain areas of the team that need to be addressed, but this is of course a first draft, so please take that into account, and we are starting off with the goalkeepers. First goalkeeper we are looking at is Lucas Fabianski at 4.5 million. He has, in the last 4 years, for 2 of those years, been one of the top point scoring goalkeepers, getting plenty of saves and every now and again picking up clean sheets, which boost his point total. Last year of course he was playing for Swansea. He is now transferred over to West Ham, but coming at 4.5 million, he's about the right price for me for a goalkeeper in a rotation pair. He had 38 appearances for Swansea, getting 9 clean sheets and conceding 56 goals, but he made 142 saves, and of course save points, every 3 save points you get points as a goalkeeper, so that is big for keeper, and West Ham's defence wasn't that great last year, so potentially he could be getting the same amount of saves as he got last year. He also got 3 penalty saves, and there's big points for penalty saves, and his save percentage was at 72.1%. If you want to know more about the point scoring system, check out my How to Play Fantasy Premier League video, where I go into depth about how players score points, but saves and penalty saves are ways keepers can put themselves ahead of the rest of the pack. And the other keeper is Fraser Forster, coming at 4.5 million for Southampton. The reason he is there is because Southampton rotate well with West Ham, which means I can rotate the pair for home games. Potentially I don't want to do that though, because Fabianski can get good results away from home as well at home, so we'll have to consider that as an option moving forward. However, Fraser Forster, 4.5 million, wasn't guaranteed first team football at Southampton last year, injuries and also other keepers coming in, so there's a bit of doubt over whether Fraser Forster is the #1 choice at Southampton, and I believe they have brought in another goalkeeper as well as of the time of recording this. But last year he had 20 appearances, getting 4 clean sheets, conceding 30 goals, making 68 saves, and had 1 penalty save with a save percentage at 70.1%. Now potentially I could look at a different rotation pair, or I could just put my faith in Fabianski to have a good season, or some other option may come to the forefront during pre-season. So of course this could change, but this is the pair of goalkeepers from the 2 sides that rotate that I like the look of the most. We now move on to defenders, and we have 4 men at the back for the first game of the season at the moment, and those 4 men are Trent Alexander-Arnold, Cedric, Coleman and Daniels from Bournemouth. Now the idea behind this defence is, generally speaking, there's no one over 5.5 million. There isn't really a premium price defender there. However, there are 2 defenders there that are very capable of getting attacking points, and also there is a defender there in a side that are very capable of getting clean sheets. The player with potential of getting both clean sheets and attacking points is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I feel like potentially he may oust Nathaniel Klein as the right back of choice at Liverpool. There is worry of course over rotation, however, in that Liverpool side with Champions League football and with them strengthening their side. However, last season, near the end of the season, he was the player playing in all the big games, all of the major games, and in the Premier League as well. So at 5 million, he looks like he could be a bit of a steal and a way into that Liverpool defence. Last season, he had 18 appearances with 8 clean sheets, 1 goal and 2 assists, with 12 attempts on goal, 5 shots on target, chances made was at 25 chances made, and big chances made was 3. The other attacking defender who I think could definitely get some points, and to be honest they're all attacking defenders, is Seamus Coleman from Everton. He was off for a lot of last season, hence why he has gone down in price, but Seamus Coleman has had seasons where he is a must-own defender, and at 5.5 I'm willing to take the risk that he could return to that kind of form. Also, Everton don't seem to have too bad a fixture list at the beginning of the season, so at 5.5 million, a defender that last season had 12 appearances, 4 clean sheets, an assist, 5 attempts on goal, 2 on target, 7 chances made and 1 big chance made, however has also had seasons where he is absolutely a must own. I'm willing to take the risk on Seamus Coleman. We then go to my 4.5 million defenders, and we're looking at Cedric and Daniels from Southampton and Bournemouth. Southampton have Cedric, who shows a lot of attacking promise, and potentially Southampton could return to what used to be a pretty solid defensive unit, just it wasn't last year. Last season, Cedric had 32 appearances with 7 clean sheets, no goals but 3 assists, attempts he had 23 with 4 of those on target, but chances made he had 24 chances made with 6 big chances made, which means I'm hoping he can get some assists and some clean sheets for my Fantasy Premier League side. And then we've got Daniels from Bournemouth at 4.5 million. They have dropped back down in price because of Bournemouth's poor defensive performance last season. However, all of Bournemouth's defence have attacking potential, and Daniels is one of the best ones there. And at 4.5 million, he could get me points elsewhere other than clean sheets. And then there is also the chance that Bournemouth do return to their first season in the Premier League, where they weren't too defensively bad. Daniels had 34 appearances with 6 clean sheets, 1 goal and 3 assists, 20 attempts on goal with 6 on target. Chances made, he made 30 chances with 4 of them being big chances. So that is my back 4 at the moment, not too expensive, allowing me to spend big money elsewhere, and I need that money because I have brought in Mohamed Salah for my midfield. Joining him in my 3-man midfield, which of course could change at the beginning of the season, is Leroy Sane and Henrik Mkhitaryan. Now Salah, 13 million, upped in price, still a midfielder. I just feel like he's a must-have. There's a video on my channel which you can check out where I go over why I think you must have him. His ownership is going to be so high, and he's one of the few players who didn't stay in the World Cup for too long, so could still start in the Premier League, that could get big points and is an easy captain option. Liverpool also don't have a bad first 3 fixtures, so Salah could be a must-own player at the beginning, and it is easy to transfer down to someone else because Salah is the most expensive player in the game. So if for some reason Salah isn't performing, it's very easy for me to bring in someone else instead of Salah, instead of trying to go from a £10 million midfielder to Salah and trying to find 3 million from elsewhere making transfers. But Mohamed Salah's stats speak for themselves, as well as Liverpool's performance last season. So 36 appearances with 32 goals and 12 assists, attempts 144 attempts on goal with 66 on target, goal conversion at 22.2%, chances made 62 chances with 12 being big chances, and a goal involvement at 57%. I think he is a must own. I think if you don't own him, you need to have Mane or Firmino, or maybe both, because if they continue to play the way they play and no one can stop them, Liverpool are a high scoring side. And speaking of high scoring sides, that is why Leroy Sane makes the team, because I feel like Manchester City coverage is vital in the beginning of the FPL season, and a lot of Man City's players are still at the World Cup, so potentially Sane could start, because of course he wasn't taken to the World Cup by Germany, so he's had a whole pre-season, could be fresh and could hit the ground running. At 9.5 million, I'm willing to take that risk that he's a starter. Of course, Mahrez has joined. I could go to Mahrez, hoping he starts and save some money to spend elsewhere, but at the moment Sane is there. With 32 appearances last year, he had 10 goals, 15 assists, 57 attempts on goal with 19 on target, goal conversion a bit lower at 17.5% than Mohamed Salah. Chances made, however, 57 chances made with 13 of them being big chances, and goal involvement at 35%. Now the issue of course with Leroy Sane was he was used for width in the Man City formation, especially as Mendy, Benjamin Mendy from France, was out. So now that he could be making a return to the starting lineup, the left back, potentially Sane may find his chances lessened, but we don't know that yet, and pre-season should give us an idea, at least for the start of the season, if Sane is going to be an important player for Manchester City. And then we have Henrik Mkhitaryan at 7 million. I think 7 million for an Arsenal midfielder that has the chance to assist Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and also the fact that a new manager is in town could boost the way these Arsenal players perform. I think Mkhitaryan is a decent risk at 7 million, although I do have a general rule of thumb not to go with players from teams that have a change in management, or really to go for too many players that are just transferring clubs. But Mkhitaryan showed a lot of promise last season in spurts to be a midfielder that can get lots of assists. So with 26 appearances, 3 goals, 9 assists, 36 attempts on goal, 16 on target, goal conversion only at 8.3, which is very low, but 44 chances made, 11 of which were big chances, and a goal involvement at 32% when he was on the pitch. I'm willing to take the risk on him unless I can see a better £7 million option. And then we move on to forwards, and compared to a lot of teams I've seen, I've actually got quite an expensive front line, with Sergio Aguero at 11 million and Roberto Firmino at 9.5. You can see I'm hedging my bets on Man City and Liverpool having a good start to the season. Aguero at 11 million, we know his pedigree. He didn't have as good a season last year as he has had in previous ones. However, 25 appearances and still got 21 goals and 6 assists, 94 attempts on goal with 42 on target, 22.3 conversion rate on goal, which is very similar to Mohamed Salah. Chances made at 40 and big chances made at 11, with goal involvement at 43%. I think Sergio Aguero is a good risk for the beginning of the season, with the likes of Lukaku and Kane only just having finished their World Cup run with their 3rd and 4th playoff place. I think you're looking at the premium price striker that hasn't stayed at the World Cup too long to not be effective at the beginning of the season. And then we've got Roberto Firmino. Again, Brazil did get to the quarter-finals, but Firmino played a very limited role in that, in the fact that he kept coming on as a substitute. So I think Firmino could possibly be fit by the beginning of the season. So I think at 9.5 million, Firmino is the best striker under 10 million to own. 37 appearances, 15 goals, 8 assists, 84 attempts on goal with 37 on target, a goal conversion rate at 17.9%, chances made at 57 with 11 big chances made, and a goal involvement at 32%. He was my go-to for my second striker. And then we've got Chris Wood from Burnley as my 3rd striker at 6.5 million. I think he looked very promising for Burnley. Burnley, of course, finished in their highest finish ever in the Premier League last season, and I think Wood could hit the ground running and get some good performances in and some goals for me, and comes in at a very reasonable price. 24 appearances last season with 10 goals and 1 assist. Attempts on goal he had 39 with 24 on target. His conversion rate higher than Aguero and Salah at 25.6. Do I think it will stay at that? No, I don't. However, chances made also at 11 with a goal involvement at 50%. I think for 6.5 million, he is definitely worth it. And then we've got the other players, the players that are going to be sitting on my bench, not including the keeper, and they are Milivojevic. You know I've said that wrong, but never mind, let's move past it. Dale Stephens and Peltier from Cardiff, who comes in at 4 million, who I'm hoping is a starter. It's always nice to find that really cheap starter for your bench at the beginning of the season. I'm hoping he is my man. Don't know too much about him. I know he had 30 appearances last year with 1 assist, but my substitutes to actually bring into the side, Stephens at 4.5 million from Huddersfield, I feel like could have a decent season. I feel like I've definitely got the stats wrong on that graphic. Hopefully I'll change that while you get this video up. But unfortunately, I'm looking at the fact that he scored 10 goals, which is the same as Milivojevic, which I think is completely wrong. So we'll focus on Milivojevic at 6.5 million. He had 36 appearances, 10 goals, 2 assists, 42 attempts on goal, 17 on target, 23.8% conversion rate, chances made at 21, big chances made at 2, with goal involvement at 29%. So he did very well at Crystal Palace for a player at 6.5 million, and I think he'll be a great player to have on my bench and to play when Palace have easier fixtures. So there you have it, there is my draft 1 team. Now I do think that potentially I would like another strong midfielder in there, which I could potentially do if I go to Mahrez instead of Sane, and potentially I could go for 2 decent midfielders instead of Mkhitaryan that are slightly cheaper. Up front, I'm pretty happy with Aguero and Firmino for the start of the season, and Wood. So I'm happy with my front three at the moment. Midfield, I think I need Salah. So Salah will stay, but the rest of it could change. In defence, it's always possible that that will change if something really comes to my attention. I would like Andrew Robertson there, but I think that might be a bit too much of a push for the beginning of the season. And then in goal, I'm really not sure about the Southampton goalkeeping situation, so the two pairs of goalkeepers could change. But right now, this is the team I've got, and I promise if I do change it, there will be another draft video for you to see the evolution of this side going into the Premier League season. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode as always. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button to show your support, and also check the links in the description down below. There is the Patreon link, of course, where you can become a patron of the channel and get a few perks for your patronage. Also hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live, where you can ask me your questions in person. We had a great first live stream. Hopefully we can have a few more successful ones before the beginning of the season. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.